Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas, sort of distill them down into things you can actually use.
That's the plan.
And today, we're doing a really fascinating deep dive into human potential. Specifically, how to unlock your brain's, well, incredible abilities
Yeah.
and really become limitless.
Right. And we're drawing from a really powerful book here, one that's got a lot of buzz around how it helps transform learning, thinking, performance, the whole package.
Yeah, sounds like it.
The core mission really is about giving you methods, practical tools to boost your brain power, improve your learning. It guides you step by step to get past those things that feel like limits.
Things we all kind of run into.
Exactly. And it's not just us saying it. It's been praised by, big names like Lisa Nichols, BJ Fogg, even athletes like A-Rod, Hollywood execs, Jim Giannopoulos.
Well, quite the range.
Yeah, they all talk about its potential to sharpen focus, boost productivity, really elevate your mental game.
Okay, so if you're listening and you're ready to maybe absorb knowledge faster, more deeply, and get those aha moments without feeling, totally overwhelmed.
Which is easy to do these days.
Right. Then stick around. We're going to uncover how you can tap into that cognitive power. Okay, let's kick things off. So the journey kind of starts by facing some, let's call them unseen challenges, things in our modern world that are actually working against our brains.
Yeah, like subtle saboteurs. That's a good way to put it. And a key insight from the source material is how it nails down 4 specific digital villains. Things that, yeah, they offer benefits, sure, but they also collectively chip away at our focus, our attention, our learning, even just our ability to think deeply.
Okay, 4 villains. What's the first one?
First up is the digital deluge. Just the sheer amount, the overwhelming flood of information hitting us constantly.
Right, the fire hose.
Exactly. And the source points to this Reuters study, dying for information. Get this. 2 out of 3 people linked information overload directly to tension, less job satisfaction, even feeling unwell.
Wow.
And 61% said they actually canceled social plans because of it.
61%.
Yeah.
Canceling plans. That really shows how deep it cuts, doesn't it? It's not just annoying, it's impacting our actual lives, our connection.
Absolutely. It forces you to think about being more intentional, with what you let in.
Okay, so that's the deluge. What's the next digital trap?
That would be digital distraction. Our phones, tablets, always on, always buzzing.
The usual suspects.
Right. There was a study, University of British Columbia, found people with phones out during dinner. They used them more, felt more distracted, and actually enjoyed the meal less. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally. I've seen it. I've probably done it.
We all have. And neuroscientist Daniel Levitin gives a pretty stark warning. He says that constant task switching, what we call multitasking, it literally depletes the brain's fuel, burns through oxygenated glucose like crazy.
So it makes you tired and foggy.
Exactly. Exhausted and disoriented, he says, even after a short burst.
So multitasking isn't the superpower we thought it was. It's actually draining us. Okay, that's a wake-up call. What about memory? Does that take a hit too?
It does, and that leads straight into villain number 3, digital dementia.
Dementia. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's a term from neuroscientist Manfred Spitzer. And his argument is our short-term memory pathways, they can actually weaken from underuse, like always using GPS instead of mentally mapping things out.
Ah, okay. Like a muscle you don't use.
Precisely. And a study found over a third of adults just immediately turn to a computer for info, which is easy, but it hinders forming long-term memories because the act of recalling something is what actually strengthens the connection in your brain.
All right, you have to pull it out yourself. Okay. And the last one, is it about letting tech think for us?
You got it. That's digital deduction. With, opinions everywhere online, it's easy to just sort of absorb them and not do our own critical thinking, our own drawing of conclusions.
Less independent thought.
Yeah. There was a UCLA study, students with laptops open in lectures. They recalled way less on a quiz later compared to those who kept them closed. So it raises that question, are we trading convenience for actual thinking?
So these 4 together,
Yeah.
deluge, distraction, dementia, deduction, they're creating this sort of brain fatigue, making it hard to focus, hard to learn.
Pretty much. It sounds a bit bleak, but...
But knowing is half the battle, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing them is the first step.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway here.
Okay, so we've identified these digital villains, these challenges. But the really exciting part, the good news, is that our brains aren't just, stuck. The source says they have this incredible secret weapon.
And that weapon is neuroplasticity. It's a fantastic concept. It basically means your brain is not fixed. It can literally change, reshape itself based on what you do, what you experience, your environment.
So every time I learn something new, like right now even,
Mhm.
my brain is physically changing.
Absolutely. Physically changing, making new connections between neurons, new synapses. That's why the author really pushes this idea that when it comes to your brain, pretty much anything is possible.
That's incredibly empowering. It's not just a nice idea, it's biology.
Right. Think of it like, paving new roads in your mind with every new skill or piece of knowledge. And this ties directly into overcoming those limiting beliefs the source talks about.
Ah, yes, the mental blocks.
Exactly. The author shares this great personal story, his own kind of Roger Bannister moment. He struggled with learning, felt he had a bad memory, but then he saw a waitress just flawlessly recall like 25 dinner orders.
What?
And it just shattered his belief about his own limits. It showed him that what we perceive as a barrier often isn't real, like the 4-minute mile. Impossible until it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And these limiting beliefs, they often show up in our self-talk, right?
Yeah.
That little voice focusing on what you can't do.
The inner critic.
Exactly. Jan Bruce calls them iceberg beliefs, deep down, fueling negativity. Dr. Janice Vilhauer says that inner critic basically inhibits you, limits you, steals your peace of mind.
So how do we fight back? What's the strategy?
The source lays out a really clear 3-step process. First, name your limiting beliefs. Actually identify those I can't, I'm not good enough phrases.
Okay, call them out.
Second, get to the facts, challenge them. Is this belief actually based on reality, like real evidence, or is it just an old story you're telling yourself?
Interrogate the belief.
Right. And third, create a new belief. Replace the old limiting one with something empowering, something that is supported by facts. You're actively rewriting the script.
So it's about evidence-based self-talk, almost, not just wishful thinking.
I like that.
I like that. And speaking of potential, we often get hung up on IQ as the only measure of genius, don't we?
Oh, definitely. And the source really broadens that definition. It highlights multiple forms of genius. There's dynamo genius, think creativity, big ideas like a Shakespeare or Galileo.
Okay.
Then blaze genius, people who excel at connecting with others, interaction. Think Oprah or Malala Yousafzai.
Ah, relational intelligence.
Kind of, yeah.
Fair.
And then tempo genius, seeing the big picture, staying the course long term. Like Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa. It just shows brilliance comes in many forms.
That's really helpful, opens things up. And what about that myth, that old chestnut about only using 10% of our brains?
Yeah.
Please tell me the source tackles that one.
Oh, it tackles it hard. Neurologists like Barry Gordon basically say it's so wrong, it's almost laughable.
Okay.
And the evidence is overwhelming. Look at brain damage studies. Any damage causes loss of function. There isn't just useless space. Brain scans. They show activity everywhere, even when you're sleeping. Plus, the brain is an energy hog. Uses 20% of your body's energy. Why would it need so much if 90% was idle? And then there's synaptic pruning. The brain actually gets rid of unused connections to be more efficient.
So we use 100%. The goal isn't using more brain.
Exactly. It's using all of it more effectively, more efficiently. That's the key.
Okay, so to operate at that peak level, to be truly limitless,
Yeah.
you need the right fuel. The source gives, what, 10 recommendations for brain energy?
Yeah, 10 key areas. And first up, maybe unsurprisingly, is your brain diet.
Food. Makes sense.
Totally. Your brain's like this high-performance engine, needs premium fuel, refined sugar, terrible for it, impairs function, causes inflammation.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And neuroscientist Dr. Lisa Mosconi points out the brain needs 45 distinct nutrients to function optimally. 45.
Wow.
So the source lists its top 10 brain foods, things like avocados, blueberries, yum, dark chocolate,
Oh, I like that one.
right? Eggs, salmon, walnuts. The bottom line is what you eat matters, especially for your gray matter.
Okay, diet is foundational. What about moving our bodies? Does exercise factor in?
Huge factor. Exercise is critical. Regular aerobic exercise, even just 10 minutes a day, can actually boost the size of your hippocampus.
The memory center.
Exactly. A University of British Columbia study showed it improves verbal memory and learning directly. So get moving. And then there's the pillar of sleep. Absolutely essential. Memory consolidation, focus, decision making. It all relies heavily on good sleep.
The brain's cleanup crew.
That's a great way to think of it. Dr. Gene Kim and Jeff Iliff call it the brain's laundry cycle. It flushes out metabolic waste, neurotoxins, like amyloid beta, which is linked to Alzheimer's.
So sleep is literally washing your brain.
Pretty much. Now, exercise helps sleep, but the source mentions it takes time. A Northwestern study found significant sleep improvements from exercise kicked in after about 16 weeks. So it's a commitment.
A long game. Okay, so diet, exercise, sleep. Those are the big three. What else does the source say is important for brain energy?
Well, there's ensuring you get the right brain nutrients, maybe supplements if needed, maintaining a clean environment, less clutter, fewer distractions around you.
Physical space matters.
It does. Also, having a positive peer group, people who support and uplift you, continuously engaging in new learning, keeping that neuroplasticity fired up, and a big one, stress management.
Stress, the
Wait,
killer.
right. Meditation gets a shout out for helping with insomnia and concentration. Even just a few minutes of focused breathing can make a difference.
Okay, so we've covered the physical fuel, the environment. But what about the internal drive? Motivation, purpose, identity. Those seem crucial too.
Absolutely critical. And the source has some really interesting takes here. On purpose, it's not just your passion, but how you use that passion to connect with and help others. It says we all have the same purpose to help other people through our passion.
That's a powerful framing. Makes it bigger than just yourself.
It does. And then identity. This is fascinating. The author argues the two most powerful words are I am. Yeah, because what you put after those words shapes your reality, determines your destiny in a way. If you change I am a slow learner to I am a fast and efficient learner, it can actually shift your behavior. Why? Because our deepest drive is to act consistently with who we believe we are.
Wow. So that self-definition is incredibly powerful. And what about goals? How does that fit with identity and purpose?
Well, the source suggests combining the classic SMART goals, specific, measurable, etc.,
Right, the standard ones.
with heart goals. Healthy, enduring, alluring, relevant. This makes sure your goals aren't just logical, but they also resonate emotionally, align with your values, makes them much more compelling. More likely you'll stick with them.
Smart and heart. I like that. Okay, so mindset's right. Motivation's firing.
Yeah.
Now we need the how, the methods, the techniques to actually do the learning better.
Exactly. Time for the meta learning toolkit. And we start with small, simple steps. This connects right back to habits.
Baby steps.
Precisely. There's something called the Zeigarnik effect, basically. Unfinished tasks create mental tension, keeping them on your mind. Dr. B.J. Fogg's Tiny Habits work builds on this, saying tiny incremental steps are the most reliable way to change behavior long term.
Not giant leaps?
Nope. And get this, the average time to form a new habit. About 66 days, longer than people think.
66 days. Okay, good to know. Patience required.
Definitely. The author shares his own morning routine, uses the acronym DREAMS. Dream recall, hydration, exercise, breathing, meditation, journaling, reading. It's an example of stacking small, winning habits.
That's practical. Okay, what about getting in the zone, that feeling of total immersion?
The flow state. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi defined it as being so involved, nothing else seems to matter. Total concentration, effortlessness. It's got about 8 characteristics.
Sounds amazing. How do we get there?
Stephen Kotler maps out 4 stages: struggle, relaxation, flow itself, and then consolidation. To actually get into flow, you need to kill distractions seriously. Eliminate them.
Turn off the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Allow enough time, like 90 minutes minimum. Do something you love. Have a clear goal and make sure it's challenging but just slightly above your current skill level. Not too hard, not too easy.
Sweet spot.
Exactly. And again, multitasking. It's the mortal enemy of flow. Just kills it.
Got it. No tab switching for flow. And that ties into focus, right? Which you said is like a muscle.
It really is.
Right.
You can train it. Dan Depani talks about this. And Juliet Funt's idea of white space, dedicated thinking time, unstructured, is crucial. We need space to just think.
We really do. Any practical tools for focus?
Yeah, the source mentions the 4-7-8 breathing technique to calm your system. Tackling stressful tasks first can actually help clear your head. And scheduling specific times for distractions, like checking email, can stop them from creeping in all day.
Contain the distractions. Okay. Now, for study, most of us just crammed in school. What's a better way?
Yeah, cramming is mostly useless for long-term retention. It actually impairs function. The source pushes for smarter strategies. Big one, active recall.
Active recall. What's that exactly?
It means after you review material, you close the book, put away the notes, and actively try to recall it. Say it out loud, write it down from memory. Retrieving the info is way more powerful than just rereading it.
Okay. Forces your brain to work. Makes sense.
Another key is spaced repetition. Reviewing material at increasing intervals, maybe after a day, then a few days, then a week, etc. This really strengthens the neural pathways for long-term memory.
Like letting the concrete set between layers.
Good analogy. And don't forget, sensory aids. Scents like rosemary or peppermint Certain music, especially Baroque, can actually enhance memory and mood, engage more senses.
Interesting. Using smells and sounds. What about listening? How can we be better listeners?
Most of us only use about 25% of our brain when listening, so whole brain listening is key. The source uses the HEAR acronym: halt distractions, empathize, anticipate, think about where they're going, and review, summarize mentally.
HEAR. Halt, empathize, anticipate, review. Got it.
It makes listening active, not passive. And for note-taking, forget just transcribing lectures. Use the capture and create method.
Capture and create.
Yeah, left side of the page. Capture the raw info quickly. Right side, create your own impressions, questions, connections, drawings, make it yours. Then later, use the IP method. Identify what's crucial. Prioritize it. Distill it down.
Making the notes work for you. Okay, let's talk memory. Is it true some people just have bad memories? Or is that another myth?
Mostly a myth, or at least a limiting belief. Memory is like a muscle. It can be trained, strengthened. Think of Joshua Foer, the journalist who trained himself to win the USA Memory Championship. Started with an average memory.
Wow. Proof positive.
Exactly. The source uses the MOM mnemonic for improving memory. Motivation, you gotta want to remember. Observation, pay attention. And methods, the techniques.
Motivation, observation, methods. MOM.
Okay, what are some of those methods?
Well, visualization and emotion are huge. Link info to vivid images, strong feelings, makes it stick. The location method, or lost line method, associating info with familiar places like rooms in your house. Great for speeches or lists.
The memory palace technique, that's the one. And word substitution, especially for tricky words or names, make an image that sounds like the word, like picturing someone saying thank you with a mer by the sea for merci in French.
Merci. Merci. Okay, I get it. Clever.
Makes the abstract concrete.
With all this information coming at us, that digital deluge we talked about, how can we possibly read fast enough to keep up?
Yeah, speed reading becomes pretty essential. Eric Schmidt called it an information surplus age. And reading faster actually improves focus and often comprehension too, because you're more engaged.
It debunks the myth that faster means less understanding.
Totally. Faster readers can skim the fluff and slow down for the important stuff. It's about efficiency. Techniques. Use a visual pacer, your finger, a pen, guide your eyes. Can boost speed 25, 100%.
Just by guiding your eyes.
Yep. Reduces backtracking. Also, push yourself a bit faster than comfortable, like interval training for your eyes. And try counting 1, 2, 3, 4 as you read lines to minimize subvocalization, that voice in your head saying every word. Train your brain to see more than say.
See, not say. Interesting. Other quick tips.
Hold the book upright, use Pomodoro's 20-25-minute bursts, and make reading a daily habit. Even if it's short, consistency builds the muscle.
Okay, last big area. Thinking. How do we move beyond just routine thinking to solve real problems, be more innovative?
We need new angles. Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats is a fantastic tool for this. You mentally try on different hats to force different perspectives.
6 hats. Remind me.
White hat is pure facts, data. Yellow is optimism, benefits. Black is caution, risks the critic. Red is emotion, intuition. Green is creativity, new ideas. And blue is process control, managing the thinking itself.
Like a mental toolkit for looking at a problem from all sides.
Exactly. Prevents getting stuck in one mode. Then there's Howard Gardner's 8 forms of intelligence, recognizing people excel differently, spatially, kinesthetically, musically, linguistically, logically, interpersonally, naturalistically. Knowing this helps you leverage different strengths.
And VAK learning styles. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Right. Knowing your preference helps tailor how you learn best diagrams, lectures, hands-on practice. It's about optimizing your way.
What about thinking ahead? Consequences.
That's second-order thinking, asking, and then what? Constantly looking beyond the immediate effect to the ripple effects, the long-term consequences, helps you anticipate things others miss.
Crucial for strategy.
Yeah.
And finally, this idea of exponential thinking.
Yeah, from Naveen Jain. It's about moving beyond just improving things incrementally linear thinking to tackling huge billion-dollar problems by finding the root cause, thinking in a totally different box.
How do you even do that?
Asking what if, reading super widely, connecting disparate ideas, extrapolating trends way out. It's about aiming for breakthroughs, not just tweaks.
Wow. Okay, what an incredible sweep through the brain's potential, from fighting those digital villains, understanding neuroplasticity, fueling ourselves right, to mastering flow, focus, memory, reading, and deeper thinking. We've really covered the ground on unlimiting mindset, motivation, and methods.
It's a lot, but it's powerful stuff, and the source has this great reminder. No hero's journey is exclusively for the benefit of the hero. The real point, like Professor Norman says in that movie Lucy, is to pass it on.
Pass it on. That's good. So here's the question for you listening. What will you do with this? With this understanding of your potential? Maybe tackle that work problem using the 6 hats. Teach your kids something using active recall. Or, finally start that reading habit with a visual pacer.
Yeah, what's the first step?
The path to being limitless, it really does start with just one step. Or maybe one deep dive like this one.
And if you are ready to jump in, the source material actually offers a 10-day quick start program. It's designed to get you applying these ideas right away, using tools like that faster reading acronym or the mom memory mnemonic. The potential is there. Time to embrace it.